Max Winchester is a marketing academic at Victoria University whose work challenges a lot of accepted marketing practices. First of all, Max, what is market segmentation?
It's dividing the market into groups, as the word indicates. So you would do it on a demographic measure such as age or gender or ethnicity, and you would target your brand at a particular group.
Yep. What have you found that has challenged perceptions around targeted markets?
Most marketers assume segmentation is a crucial part of your marketing strategy. But what we found when we've looked post that is that by looking at the profiles of consumers of different brands, we haven't actually found any difference across the brands. So basically the same types of consumers are using different brands. There's no difference.
What are your ideas on brand loyalty, and are the patterns of consumerism changing?
Not so much that they're changing, but the assumptions we've made about brand loyalty has changed. So we've empirically looked at brand loyalty and found that generally speaking consumers are not loyal to one brand, but they're loyal to a repertoire of brands, a small number of brands.
Yep, so what are great examples of brands that have got this right and those that have got it wrong?
Mars is probably the leading company for getting it right because they have taken a marketing science approach to the way they do marketing. And they've looked for empirical evidence, whereas most marketers don't do that.
Yep, and what are your thoughts on the bang that the government gets for its buck at different universities?
That's an unrelated question I wasn't expecting. I think Victoria University has offered the government the best bang for buck of all, because per student we get about half the funding as a university such as Monash or Melbourne. And yet, Melbourne and Monash get a student at this level and take them to there, and we're taking a student of any ATAR and getting them to the same level. So if anything, it should be the other way around.
Yep. And what initially prompted you to challenge accepted marketing practices?
I was headhunted out of a corporate marketing job actually by one of the top marketing science research centres in the world called the Ehrenberg Bass Marketing Science Institute at the University of South Australia. And it was when I went there to start my PhD I realised a lot of what I'd been doing, a lot of the assumptions I had were wrong.
Yep, and is this something that's common across many universities in their teaching now, or is this almost unique to yourself and to Victoria University?
We are one of very few universities in the world that teach this way, using the marketing science approach. University of South Australia is one of the others within Australia, but most marketing courses are taught on conjecture rather than empirical evidence.
Yep, and are many first years surprised with your findings on marketing, and do you enjoy the cut and thrust with those students, and do they come to your way of thinking, or do they continue to go down the line that a lot of other marketers do?
Students who haven't taken marketing before don't struggle with it, but if they have preconceptions of marketing and what it is, they do struggle for a while. But I do believe that if they take the major in marketing, they eventually do get convinced that our way of thinking is the better way of doing things.
Yep, and you've also famously written about wine wankery. What do you think you'll be writing on next? And tell us a bit about the wine snobbery that goes on.
Well, the assumption that the wine industry has is that their product is unique, and the argument that Professor Damien Wilson from Sonoma in California and I have argued is that it's just another commodity product. And conveniently, I've just had a paper with him accepted to the Journal of Wine Business Research, showing that it is just like other products. The loyalty to wines is just like it would be for soap or toothpaste. And people do have repertoires just like they do with soap and toothpaste. So we now have the empirical evidence of a sample of 20,000 consumers that shows that it does show the patterns we had suspected.
Yep, so if I go to Dan Murphy's, am I going to buy a $10 bottle of red and find it's probably as good as a $30 or $40 bottle?
You might, but you might also next time then go and buy a $50 bottle of red and find it's as good as the $10 bottle of red that you just bought this time.
Yep, and what do you particularly enjoy about bringing students on at Vic Uni?
The fact that I can relate, being a Western suburban boy myself, I can relate to them, and I understand where they come from, and I understand some of the struggles they've had.
Yep, and do you find there's an extreme amount of entrepreneurship among a lot of your students here, or are they looking specifically at one sort of market to get into?
I think the beauty of VU is we have such a diverse range of students with diverse backgrounds that you do find, I think, more of an entrepreneurial spirit amongst the students here.
Yep, and do you have high hopes for a lot of your students this year?
Absolutely. There would be
Yep.
no reason not to. The past records I have of students who have graduated from here, they've done very well. The past Treasurer of Victoria was. I've had students work in the Department of Premier and Cabinet. I've had students work for some of the largest media companies in the world after graduating from here. So I have no doubts that our students will do well.
Yep. And how are you enjoying teaching first years this year? How has that been a tremendous thing for you, and that your style of teaching has changed quite a bit?
I've just started my first class today, so it might be too soon to say, but I think certainly the first year model is fantastic, and you know, we have some things to sort out. We have some teething problems, but I think it's the best thing we've done. I'm
Yep.
really happy with it.
Yeah. And did you find that you had to rewrite your units?
Yes.
Yep.
We spent all of summer rewriting our units for the first year model.
Yep. And did you get assistance from people outside your specific college to have a look at what you were doing? And
Yes, we
Yep.
had a team of educational designers and educational technology specialists come and help us put our shells together and help us redesign our units for the more condensed version.
Yep. And what about the other academics from other areas? Do they also have a look at your units and express surprise or interest, or wonder why certain things were in there or not?
Do you mean in terms of the first year model?
Yeah.
Yes, I think for the discipline colleges, it's been a surprise to them. I think a lot of them didn't believe it would work, and I think they're now having to eat their own words because it is working. And you know, now they're starting to come around and say that they think it would actually be good in second and third year. So I think it's on its way.
Yep. And how much do you enjoy really spreading the word about marketing with your students?
Oh, I'm very passionate about marketing, so I love it. Yeah, absolutely.
Yep. That's great. Thanks very much, Max Winchester.
Thank you.
Cheers.
Cheers.